All right. Welcome back to another Shop Class podcast. Tonight, we got a special surprise guest. We got Jenny Bannink. She is a machinist and an educator. And she's worked a lot with Tormach, but I'm not going to say it. She's got a huge announcement. What's going on, Jenny?
So I actually left Tormach last fall on kind of a whim to pursue education. So I've been with Tormach almost 8 years, and I absolutely loved it. Have no hate for them at all. It actually left on really good terms. And it was a student from the East Coast at Milburn High School who actually inspired me. She knows I might be talking about her tonight, so I told her I was going to be at a podcast. But when I was at Tormach like 5 years ago, I was doing field service installation and tech support, met this young lady. She's like, cool, can I watch you install the equipment? I'm like, yeah, come on in. And we ended up talking shop until like 3 or 4 in the morning. But I think I just realized like this is what I am designed to do. I love mentoring. I love working with students and educators. And at the time, they had moved me into sales. And it really just wasn't my vibe. And so just kind of out of the blue, I decided I wasn't really happy doing that. And I really wanted to focus on education. So I came in one day and said, hey guys, like no offense, love you guys lots, but I think I want to leave and start my own business. And so last August, this is my little home shop, but I opened what's now known as Wrench Works. And I do prototyping, CNC training, customized CNC training. So I do it for both businesses and schools. If they want, they can book me and we talk about the stuff that they want to learn. None of it's out of the box. It's all based off what they want. That's where I'm a little unique too. I'm a tool and die maker by trade. So I've been in industry for about 25 years. And I just absolutely love making things, but helping people make things. I feel like it's an opportunity to give someone, it's like transferring superpowers. You know what I'm saying? So I just suddenly started this company like Wrench Works. And it was really bizarre because the first week or two, I'm like, what have I done? And people are coming out of the woodworks, throwing support and love. I had a friend build my website for me. I had another one build me a logo, and everyone's just like, let's make this work because we think that this is what you should be doing. This is your purpose or your ikigai. And so we started, I actually just launched a YouTube.
Wait, before you get to that, let me ask you this. How did a student from Milburn, New Jersey inspire you? You guys were talking about this?
No, so I think I was feeling stuck. I was feeling like I was kind of stuck in this box because they're like, you're going to do sales. Because people liked buying stuff from me because I love to talk shop and I've been doing this for so long, but I'm not a salesman. And I kept saying, guys, I'm not a salesman. I'm not really loving the sales part. I love the working with people, educating them, the applications engineering. People call in, hey, I want to make this thing. What would you recommend for fixturing tooling? I love that. Just didn't like the sales side. It wasn't me. It was kind of like teaching a fish to climb a tree. That fish might be able to climb for a minute or two, but eventually they're just going to run out of oxygen. And I think towards the end, it just wasn't a good fit for me. And the student called me and said, I was so inspired when we were hanging out, you were showing me the machine while you were putting it together. And I just thought, oh my gosh, someone who's different, not the typical, installation guy that comes in. And we started talking and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what students need. This is what we need is industry working with students and showing them that you can be a little different. You can be unique. You don't have to meet that stereotype. And I was like, there's a lot of really good content creators, but a lot of them kind of look or seem very much the same. And I wanted to break it down to a level where people could understand. And the students, I had told her, I said, don't let anything get in the way of your dreams. I went to work. They said, you've kind of hit your ceiling here. There's nowhere for you to grow because you want to do education. But it's an e-commerce company. Profit is the name of the game, and that's the thing. And it wasn't a fit for me though, because I'm not a competitor, I'm a creator. And so I thought, you know what, this is not a good fit for me. I don't want to lose who I am. And talking to that student and telling that student, go out, do that thing that you think is your purpose, made me realize that I was giving myself the same advice without realizing it. And I think it just, I hadn't even planned it. It was kind of like, hey, I think I just want to let you know it's not fair to you guys and it's not fair to me if I stick around, because this is not what I feel like is my purpose or my ikigai. And I was like, I think I'm just want to try entrepreneurship. And so I opened.
Well, we got your back.
Oh gosh,
100%. We had you on the podcast maybe 2 years ago, I think, maybe, or a year ago, and right about the time that I was getting the machine, right?
Yep, I remember that.
It's one of the best episodes we've done, and it was really good. And at the time, I think we all said you should have your own YouTube channel. You're really good at this. So you have all your ways of inspiring and bringing CNC work down to earth. CNC is like, what is that? Computer numerically controlled, but what does that even mean? I mean, basically, like, imagine a milling machine with no handles. It's all typing,
right.
So pretty amazing. What are some of the projects that you're going to start doing? What are some of the services?
Well, right now I have one I can't show because there's a company in Chicago where their machinist just quit on them. And they actually found me on TikTok, and one of the guys that works there knows me from trivia and said, "Oh, I know that girl. Like, she's a mold maker." And he's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Can you help us with this mold build?" So I actually just got a mold shipped to me. I can't really show it because of NDAs and stuff, but so I'm going to be doing a tool build this week, and I was hoping to get another YouTube video out this week as well. So I'm going to try to do them in tandem. But a lot of the other projects, so I've been taking and running, I don't know if you can see, but my router's running, or pace is back there. And I started doing reclaimed wood stuff with epoxy, and I wanted to make it mathematical. So these are all separate pallet boards, and I have them, I'll show you. This is a bar top. It's not quite done yet.
Jenny, you need a camera on your head. We want to follow you around the shop. Whoa!
So this is all just pallet wood. Oh, sorry, back it off. So this is actually, I did the math because I just had pallet wood, and I was like, well, I just want to cover this thing, but I want it to be kind of, kind of different and unique. So I figured out the cord for that on Fusion, and then I cut all the individual pieces, then cut the rooster out and poured epoxy, and
wait, Jenny, I got to go to my wood shop guys for this. Roy, I feel the question on your face. What do you want to know? Oh, we can't hear you. There's no sound for you. It's very low. It's muffled. It must be on top of the mic. But I feel like this is what he's going to ask. I can read his mind. How deep is that? Is that inlaid? Are those pieces actually assembled in a like? Can you tell us the mechanics of it? And please, Tim, back me up. Is this the question a woodshop teacher would ask? Because I feel like, what do you think, Tim?
So which part do you want to know?
Yeah, go ahead. Just start talking to us.
Okay. So, yeah, what I want to know is, it looks like it's an array, goes in around.
It is. Yep.
So is it really each piece is cut in there like that?
Yeah.
Was
that I got the Fusion file here somewhere.
Pull it up.
So it looks like it was a segmented turning, like a segmented piece. So it must have a bazillion or pieces of like those pie-shaped triangles. Yeah. And then were they cut on the CNC?
Yeah. So the dilemma was, kind of a long story. I'll try to make it kind of short though. My eldest son got married last fall, and they had gotten all these reclaimed tables, like conference tables. So this was actually, the core of it was a laminated table, the round, boring laminated tables they use for like conventions and stuff. And he said they don't need them back. And they said, you guys can throw them in the dumpster. And I said, I don't want to do that. And my husband has a source, and we know it's good, clean pallet wood. It's from a company that he knows. But so he started bringing pallets home, and he goes, honey, do you think you could do something with this? Oh, and this one's not even my coolest one. You should see my cow table. I made a cow bar top too. So this is right after I left Tormach, and I just kind of want to try it. But the problem is the tabletops were 29 3/4 inches in diameter. My router's only 24 inches for travel in X. And I'm like, well, I want to do the round table, but I don't want to have to dink around with the hand router and trying to clean up all the stuff. And I'm like, well, what if I just did the math and figured out what size each slice should be? I'll see if I can find it here. And so I ended up like planing a bunch of different pallet wood to the same thickness. And then I cut all these out, and actually it's on my TikTok. Or no, this one's not on my TikTok yet. This is, you guys are getting a sneak peek of this one.
All right.
This one's not even on TikTok yet.
I'm already imagining what the shop teachers are saying or thinking in their head, and this is maybe just me, but we'll see. If you made a step-by-step layman's terms video series on just that table,
I want to. That's what I was thinking. I might do another one.
It's sitting here. The Tormach is waiting for you. Consider this Tormach yours. Send us. Yeah, like if you want to run something here, but you can describe it to one of my high school kids, then you can run it. We'll run it for you. You know what I'm saying? So you could have these projects going on, and you'll be able to teach this, and people, that'll drive traffic towards your website as a place for sources for teaching. And
I would love to do that.
There you go. That could be like a sample project. Let me just say hi to Steve Richards. How you doing? Oh, you're muted. Unmute yourself. There you go. That's okay. Everybody does that. Anyway, and what, Roy, did you get your sound sorted out? No, we still can't hear you. It's like
there we go. Now I unmuted my mic.
Do you have two halves and then join them? Okay. Jenny, how do you do that?
So it actually ended up being, I want to say 26 pieces. So if you want, I think I can share screen. I'll show you.
Screen.
I think I just closed down the thing that I wanted to show you, but I'll show you the slice quick. So,
Steve, just so you know, we're dropping in on Jenny's world tonight. She is a CNC machinist. She's got a Tormach CNC. Actually, Steve's brother's got a Tormach. Dave Richards is a teacher in Livingston.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And
that sounds familiar.
It's close to Millburn, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Jenny, what you should be doing?
I installed the Tormach there. Oh, I didn't mean to stop. What's that?
Jenny, what you should be doing is you should be putting us to work for you. We will cut stuff. We teach my kids. You have an army of kids working on CNC,
I really think this is stuff that you really enjoy doing. I should show you some of my backlit stuff too. I'd have to run upstairs. Oh, am I presenting now? I just kind of
and you need a better internet connection in the future.
Oh, you know what? Let me see. I have Starlink also, and I think I might be on the main one.
That's one.
Let me toggle over to my
I'm just letting you know it glitched a little when you moved over. But this will be fine. Fusion 360. Okay.
Let's see. I think I might be patching into my Starlink. So hopefully that's a little better. Okay.
Okay, this is pretty cool.
So, and I don't know if I have the whole thing because I think I just did the math and then figured it out. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I need all these slices. Let's see. Yeah, I only got the one slice here, but all I did was draw an array. And I was like, okay, how many of these do I need? And then I made, they're all individual slices. I want to say it was like 26 slices. So and I'm like, this would be a really fun way to teach students like practical math. You know how they're always like, why do I have to know pi? Why do I have to know like what the radius is? This is why you need to know. So you can make really cool stuff on a too small router table. And then once I got all those parts laid down and sanded, I faced it all off. This is the rooster.
Whoa.
And it's just a pocket program. So many people don't realize how simple the stuff is that I do. And they're like, all that stuff you do is really complicated. I said, no, it's not. I said, this is a DXF. I said that I added some flourishes too. And then I just extruded it all into a pocket, cut that out. And then I used just standard tabletop epoxy, mixed all the colors. I should really be showing you on my TikTok. Hold on, this might be, I just did a table. I did some rectangular ones. The flag one was pretty fun.
This
one,
is awesome.
I wonder.
Wait, stay on this for a sec. So how deep is that pocket?
So the pocket in the rooster is, I want to say, I think I went like either an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch. Let's see.
Oh, wow. That's all you need.
Yeah, just a 1/4 inch. Yeah, because then once it all settles, then I just.
But how big is this CNC? How big is this thing? Where did you put this? What's the diameter of this?
The tabletop is 29.75 inches. Hence why I only have 24 inches of travel in X. So this is, I don't know if you see it back here. This is my router right here. That's running.
Hard to see. Do you have a? Oh, this is on a router. I thought this was inside a CNC machine or a Tormach.
It is a Tormach. It's their 24-hour router.
Oh.
Another thing that
cool.
I wanted to experiment too. I've been doing some resin stuff. This does have some CNC, but I'm making. Okay, charcuterie boards are a big deal right now, but I wanted to make something different because everybody makes the same thing, and so. Have you guys seen those infinity tables? Like where they make the table and then they have the mirror on the bottom. It's got the little ladder. It looks like you're looking down a mine shaft. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've seen those. That's cool.
Seen those? Yeah. I wanted to do that, but with resin and a D&D or a Dungeons and Dragons theme. So this is actually a gallon of epoxy with a mirror. And then I have the filmed glass. And what I'm cutting out in the router right now is a wood frame, and I'm going to put LEDs around it. So when you look in it, and you can't see it right now, I'll try to get a picture when it's all done. I'm going to frame it in with LEDs and a little pigtail for charging. And so when you look, it looks like the dice are falling infinitely into space.
Whoa.
And I figured it would be a good time to talk about actually refraction, light refraction, because that's how it works. And I was like, this would be a really fun. And I did get to use the CNC for the little D&D logo guy.
Cool.
But
nice, good stuff.
Yeah, that was and it's a pretty thick pour. So I'm just trying to come up with like projects that kind of inspire people to try something on their own, because I always feel like there's so many curriculums out there, but it's everybody makes the same widget.
You know what I want to recommend is unshare your screen just for now.
Okay.
Click stop sharing, and then everybody should pin her window, and then you really do get a better look at her shop and the stuff she's showing. That kind of helps out. And then for the recording, it'll look bigger on the screen as well, because it only records the people that are talking, even though we have a grid right now. Very cool. And then I also recommend, I think you need an overhead cam. But this is very simple on this type of podcast, is you just need a second login. You could have a phone.
Oh, yeah.
Follow you around. Yeah. So if you have a phone, you could log in, and then we could go where you're going if you wanted to do that. The other thing is, Roy, what do you think? Oh, he's leaving. Okay.
I figured it out. I have audio now. It only
there we go. Roy,
devices.
All right, jump in,
and 3
man.
screens.
What do you
4
think of the
screens.
rooster?
I was super impressed. I was really excited about it. We've been slow to the game in adapting or adding CNC, and so yeah, we're just getting into it.
Nice. And Roy does like fine woodworking, and he wins shows with his students and whatnot and stuff like that. And you got a lot of woodworkers in the house, and some people that are doing CNC. Also, Steve Richards works on it, and Peter Molinaire has been a machinist. Matt Bloomquist, he does. I haven't seen him in a while. How you been?
Good. The volleyball game got canceled for Iris tonight, so I ended up being home tonight instead of on the road going and watching in the gym.
Nice. And Matt Bloomquist builds houses with his students. So instead of a shop class, there's a job site, like an act. They just go there. And then also last summer we helped him out by putting solar panels and a battery backup on his job site trailer. So now he's off grid until they hook up the house.
Got it.
Yeah. And then also I should note in that let's see, I should also let you know that Noah also does something similar, building houses and whatnot. And Dave Potts does graphics. Dave Potts, how you doing?
Not too bad.
He does silk screening and whatnot. Do you do any machining at all, Dave?
Yeah, I have one section of metals too this year.
Oh, okay, really? All right. And you're doing manual machining or CNC?
All manual in there. All manual.
Okay. And you know what I do is I get them on the drill press, and then I get them on the manual mill, and then I get them on the Tormach. And that's the progression there. Have you thought about adding a Tormach? Don't you share a space with anybody that has a CNC over there?
Kevin Witt's got a CNC router. But that's about the extent of CNC machining that we have. So
okay. So Jenny, you're gonna have to help us out. You gotta get the manual mills on the. I mean, the manual is great, but you got to get us on the CNC. And I'm telling you, if you want to write some sort of curriculum, I'll have my kids run it right here. You can test it out. Yeah.
I would love that. I know, and I'm looking at maybe getting involved with some accredited programs too, just because it makes it easier for schools to be able to hire me when I have at least 1 or 2 accredited, but that you can kind of mix and match stuff. So, because I feel like a lot of the curriculums out there right now are created by machine tool companies, which is fine, but it always feels like the education part is always secondary to let's give them a curriculum so they'll buy the equipment. And I'm like, think about what students really want to make, you know?
And also I should let you know that the number 3 video on our podcast from YouTube is the episode you were on about the Tormach. Yeah.
So you got to invite me back.
Well, you're on right now, so
I am.
This is it. It's the Jen show, so we're good.
Maybe one of these days I'll have something made up ahead of time and kind of do a quick walkthrough. So.
Oh no, it's all good. Mark Adams, what do you think, man? Have you done some CNC? You want to learn from Jen to do some projects? Oh, you got to unmute it. I can't hear you. Sorry, it's like a button on there. There you go. Oh, no, we still don't hear you. Sorry. When it comes to Google Podcasts, you just gotta unmute it. That's the only issue, or connect it or something. So Jenny, what else do you want to show us? Like, let's say a teacher wanted to learn CNC. What do you have to offer?
I would first talk to them. I would talk to them, find out what they want to learn, what materials they want to use, and then I'd build it around that. Kind of like you've seen my passive amplifier that I did. That kind of started with,
cool.
and My light boxes are a really big hit. I could run up and grab one. It's the same kind of thing. I do a hollowed out. It'll take me about 2 seconds.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
A little bit longer than that, but I'll be right back.
Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thanks. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Well, as far as CNC things go, I really need some axle spacers for a project I'm working on for a front end conversion. And that's I got some buddies who do like the manual mill stuff, but it might be easier to kind of draw up something.
Well, you know what's nice about CNC is it's repeatable, you know.
Right.
Whereas like the manual, you could do it, get it done and stuff like that. We only use it when we need to make multiple parts. Otherwise, we just do the manual. You know, it's kind of easy setup.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the axle spacers, I just need one for each side. So, but it could be kind of complicated, and so it might be a lot of manual switching different bits and everything because it'll be a bunch of different sizing.
Okay, I got you. Nice. Oh, you know, maybe I could talk to her about this. I got this. You know, when you're working on motorcycles, and this is something Mark cares about, and also engines. If you take the piston out because you're doing like a rebuild, or in my case, I'm teaching. When you go to put the piston back in, you need a ring compressor, and the problem is the one where you crank it down. That thing's terrible. It always slips out, and it never quite closes. So what I came up with was kind of like almost looks like a stack, an air stack, but it's got a nice edge on it, and you press the piston, take your thumbs, and it goes right in. It's got the flat thing. But you have to have different sizes. So I'm around 3D printing it on the Dremel, which is real good. But then I got to talk to Jenny about getting these CNC'd. Yeah, there you go.
You could do that.
All right.
Do that. You want them in plastic, or are you gonna machine
whatever the slippiest, most efficient way to do it? You know, because the rings really do catch. They want to catch unless you just slip them right in and boom, then you don't have to worry about it. They do sell taper ring compressors, but the issue with them is that they're expensive, and also you have to I feel like I don't know why the taper doesn't curve in. It should be like a curved taper. And I just thought, oh, well, why don't I just 3D print them? So you could buy those, but then what if you come up with a good design that anybody could cut on their CNC mill, or you could just 3D print it, you know?
Right. Well, all you need, you have a solid model because you 3D printed it, right?
Yep.
So that would be just a simple like 3D tool path, like maybe not a raster path, but like a waterline path that you could, I mean, that shouldn't be too hard at all. Are you talking about maybe making it out of aluminum or metal so that?
Well, I have an issue. I have a skill gap. So it's a fancy way of saying I don't know how to do it. So I know how to 3D print this, and I have conversational on my CNC, but how do I get the G code from Onshape to the Tormach? Help.
Do you have CAM in your Onshape, or is it just CAD?
I don't think so. I don't think Onshape did the CAN for this yet.
So I do have to say I'm a Fusion 360 girl.
All right.
I like it for education mostly because you don't need a high-powered laptop to run it because it doesn't require some big, crazy graphics card. It's just nice and easy because I have an inexpensive laptop here that I got from Best Buy right after I left the company, and I'm like, and it runs great on here. But you know, do you have Fusion? Because it's free for education.
Yeah, I think the other science teachers are using it. I use Onshape. It's similar. It's web-based. But I don't think they got the CAM yet. So we'll have to move the solid model over to there. It doesn't even have to be this. I just don't know how. I don't know. I've never done the G code on this yet. I've only done conversational.
Well,
so there's a gap. There's a skill gap, Jenny. You got to fill it, Please help us.
Well, and the hardest part for people with CAD to CAM is that transition to the setup in CAM, like your work coordinate system, like how do I set up my stock? And then once you get that, it's pretty simple. Maybe I'll do a YouTube segment on it if you'd like to.
Not maybe. This is it. I'm
Okay.
sorry. You're obligated.
It does take me a while to get through YouTube. There's always a ton of bloopers, and I always say stuff I shouldn't say. So I'm trying to keep everything PG-13.
That's all good.
But yeah,
That's what
this was another project, and it looks like, here, I'll turn off at least one of the lights here. Oh, let me see. Let me turn off this light too. And well, heck, we'll turn this one off too. I don't know if you can tell there.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Is that coming behind it?
Actually, from inside.
Whoa.
So I wanted to add some electronics and stuff as well. So I can show you. I can actually pop this guy open. I was going to put pry bar slots on it, and I got a little lazy. This is actually on my TikTok as well, but I don't talk in any of my TikToks. It took me a while to want to be able to really talk in front of the camera. Like I said, podcasts I love because I'm talking to you guys.
Just go live. That's the way to do it. There you go.
So if you look, these are just cheap fairy lights, and I milled these out. I just modeled up this base with a bunch of bosses to run the lights through. And then I made an epoxy pocket for this one. And then once it cured, I milled out the back and milled out the front.
Clever. So
yeah, I've been making a ton of
on one side, wait for it to cure, and then kind of slice down the other side. That's actually pretty cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
You can't tell I'm a mold maker. Like half the stuff I do, everything I do is on center, and everything is. Let's make it 2 parts. But so that was kind of a fun project. I have a couple other ones I'm cooking up right now, but yeah, by all means, maybe I'll get to come visit you guys in person one of these days. Just if you know someone with money that wants to hire me for some training, let me know.
hit my school with a proposal. I'll push it through. You gotta go for it.
Yeah, I do have a legitimate registered LLC and everything else. I got my W-9, so
cool. Let me roll around here to Adam. How you doing?
I'm good.
Adam, you're teaching high school shop class?
Yeah, I'm teaching. I teach wood. Sorry, I got my son on the crib cam here. I'm trying to turn him down.
Sorry.
I teach woods 1, 2, and 3, and then I teach a residential DIY class.
Okay, and you're in Illinois?
Yeah, I teach in Coal City, which is about an hour outside of Chicago, Southwest.
Do you know Matt Bloomquist right here?
I think I might have emailed you a question or something at some point on a thread with Justin Dietrich, something like that. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm down in Tev. I'm down just south of Springfield, so I'm probably 3 hours south of you.
Okay.
But yeah, Dietrich's just north, and they're in Lincoln.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my second year doing it, and my district doesn't know it. I have a move for next year. I'll be changing schools, so if my superintendent's watching this, I don't need to tell you that here this next week. But I got an opportunity to shadow pretty much a master shop teacher for a year, and then take over his program and hopefully not ruin it. So something to look forward to, but it's not stressful at all.
Okay. That's good. That's cool, man. Well, a lot of wood shop teachers in the house tonight. That's pretty cool. And awesome. And have
Adam,
you done any CNC
Adam,
work?
Is that residential DIY class? That's in high school? You teach that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So cool.
Yeah, over the years I've often heard calls for that, and that's definitely something within my area of expertise. But it seems like there wasn't really the interest from the kids, at least in my district. So I'm curious to hear more about that.
Are you talking about stuff like this, like building houses and working on houses, or you do something more like like making lamps and stuff like that? What do you guys do?
So yeah, it's like I've done different versions. So I took over from another shop teacher. He kind of left me materials and not much else, and so I kind of had to read his mind what he wanted because I got hired late. And so we started off doing like an 8 by 8 foot room. Kids are building them in groups. Each group's responsible for a wall. Then I pared it down because it's really expensive to do that. And also because I wanted to reuse those 2x4s. So then we slowly pared the size of the room down. So now we're down to a 4x4 foot room. Every group gets their own room, a 4x4x4, I should say. And we just do wall framing, blocking. They'll put an outlet, a switch, a can light, which we just do kind of a phony rafter for the sake of doing the can light for now. We'll do drywall, paping, mudding. And then we're gonna do, if I can carve out the time, we're gonna do just some LVP flooring. Just because that's nice and quick, and I feel like a nice, easy thing that a homeowner would do for flooring. So
Nice.
My struggle is my struggle is one that I'm not going to further develop the class because of my change, but it's also just really expensive. And the previous teacher had approached the district about like building a shed, because then at least you could sell the shed and recoup some of that, the investment in the materials, but they saw that as a liability. So they keep paying for the materials for now. So that's okay. But I do struggle with the fact that we can't reuse a whole lot of the stuff that we make.
Yeah. We're thinking about over here, we're doing an off-grid trailer. It's very small, but it's kind of built like a house. It's only a 4x8 trailer, but we're thinking about next year doing a very well-insulated podcast room or music room, like a recording studio. And because the woodshop teacher here, he doesn't join. He's kind of like old school. He's not like on the internet at night. He's like tucking his kids in bed and stuff. And he is he's a guitarist. He's got a band and he plays the blues like you wouldn't believe. Like I went and saw him play and I was like, wow, this is like a legit musician. So if we make him a room to record in, I think we can make some instruments. But I think we're going to do CNC of the guitar with the pockets for the pickups and stuff. So Jenny, you're going to get a lot of calls. But that'll be cool. Doing a room like that. It's great you're doing that. I think there's a lot of people in here doing a lot of residential. Steve, do you do any residential housing? But it's mostly craftsmanship, right?
I don't do any of it in school, but I'm renovating my house. I've renovated many houses. I've worked professionally in all phases of it, so it's definitely in my wheelhouse. But there just hasn't been too much call for it amongst the students, probably because I teach rich kids, and they don't get their hands dirty around the house. But it's funny, the parents and teachers are always asking about stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, coming back to the topic.
If I could chime in there 1 second too, Ron, just so you know, I just had a visit recently from a former student, Mike Lavecchia, who's doing Lavecchia guitars on Instagram. And he was when he was in high school with me, he started building guitars. And then you start with electric, then go to acoustic. And then he went down to Nashville for audio engineering.
Whoa.
And works in studios and setting up, designing spaces and so on and so forth. And he's running a maker space and building guitars, high-end acoustics. And he's just a wealth of information in that, sound and reflections and frequencies and so on and so forth. So we should talk when you get into that thing. I have an interest in that area.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Cool. Right. Soundproofing from Rockwool, right?
Yeah. Well, so Dan from Rockwool that you guys all met at JLC is now with Timber HP. So it's a wood fiber insulation, but very similar products, just different materials. But we still have the connections either with Dan, they're at Timber HP now, or we still have the Rockwool connections and stuff. So with Chris and those guys. So whenever it comes time for that, we can literally, you'll have probably your choice of which one you want to use, and we could get for free, especially since that wouldn't be a huge amount either. So
yeah. What a small world now, right? Like everybody's connected. I love seeing everybody. It's so cool. And you can discuss projects. So, okay, going back to Jenny and the topic of CNC and all these cool projects, what other projects do you have for us? What's the plan? Like, what do you what avenue are going to address?
So, I mean, right now, with my YouTube channel, I'm helping like former colleagues. So I still get a ton of Tormach calls from people because I was there a long time, helped a lot of people. And so, but I'm like, guys, I still have to make money during the day. And so I'm making like videos based off some of the most frequently asked questions I get, like what's a drawbar?
Tori Robbins, listen.
That's not me. But so like here, I think I'm addressing machine warm up because that's a question I get a lot, and it's nippy out there. And so people are like, do we need to do a warm up? And so then I talk about warm up, but then I talk about the different components too, and thermal expansion. And because not everybody gets a chance to take their machines apart, and I've taken machines apart for years. So I kind of do a breakdown of like, what's a ball screw? What's the purpose of that? I'm going to do a more in-depth ball screw one, but it's me kind of covering like how to be able to not, or how to not have to chase around your tolerances on a cold machine. Because, when you think about like a ball screw, you think about the side that's going to be closest to your motor side and your column side that's taking all the heat. When you get out here, things are going to be cooled down. So I kind of talk about how to set up a warm-up program, what the function of a warm-up program is. And that's this episode. I also did one on drawbars because so many people are like, I don't understand what's a drawbar. And I'm like, oh, well, I have to put a new spindle in my machine, so I'll tell you what a drawbar is. And the one with me in my Green Bay Packers outfit, that was work coordinate systems. Because that's something that when people are new, they don't understand work coordinate systems. So I use the little football analogy in that one because that was right before we played the Bears. And it was just kind of a fun little football themed, how to explain work envelope versus work coordinate system. So I'm just trying to do what I normally do and the stuff that I like to do, like just breaking down all that real complicated stuff and making it simple. So, and this I'm not getting paid for yet. Like I said, I think my channel's a week and a half old, and I think I've got like 130 or 140 subscribers. And I was like, whoa, like people are actually clicking the little button.
Yeah,
I'm super new at all of this, but eventually what I want to do are like, okay, so I might talk about my rooster table but I think I'm going to make a new one from scratch and step everybody through it, because a lot of my projects I was doing on TikTok, because you can put music on and you don't have to talk to the camera. I actually on my TikTok went like full, like, okay, I have to admit I hate talking to cameras. I had a cardboard cutout of Danny DeVito down here for a while, and so I would talk to Danny DeVito. And actually, Danny DeVito is owned by my son, so he wanted his Danny back. So I have a Bob Ross on order. So now Bob Ross is going to be hanging out in the shop with me. But that's cool. The YouTube channel. I do want to do a little of everything. I want to talk about not just machine maintenance, but also how to get started with the project. And I'd like to kind of evolve it into an educational, like, here's a really cool math problem that involves machining that you can do with your students. And, that kind of thing.
Nice. If you want, we're here for you. If you wanted to test out some of these lessons, sometimes I don't know how you operate, but I test out my lessons on my 4th period class, and I screw the whole thing up. And then by the time I get to 9th period, I got it right. So, you got to test it out. So if you want to test it out on my students, if that helps you, we'll just put the camera here. I think they would love you. So that would be really cool. Also, I want to take a moment to welcome in some of the people that just joined. We got a big round table tonight.
Wow. Yeah,
we got the OG podcaster, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Barbercheck. He helped me start the podcast. a million years ago. How you doing? What's happening, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
All right, pretty wild. Surviving and always inspired. I didn't know Jenny was coming in tonight. I sent her a message, hey, you should join us, but I didn't know she was going to come in with all these cool projects and a big announcement that she's going off on her own. She's got her own education company now. So pretty cool. What would you want to see, Matt? What would you want her to teach you or your students in your classroom? What do you want to see from it?
I'm coming in cold here. I just see that you operate CNC machinery.
You missed our first episode with her. That's why.
I'm sorry, I did.
Basically, the Tormach machine behind me is basically what that was her specialty for a while.
Nice. And the gist I got from like the 30 seconds I just caught was almost like maybe like a Titans of CNC-esque style.
Yeah. But instead of Bloom, I'm more Bob Ross than Titan. I'm kind of that it's okay to mess up, because I always feel I respect Titan. I love his guts, but I think he can be a little more aggressive for people who are brand new and they're like, I just don't want to break all my bits. And I can't afford the Kennametal kit, so I'm buying my tooling from Amazon. I want to serve that crowd, the people who don't have a big budget. And I mean, that's what I've been kind of getting. I'm new to woodworking. There's a lot of woodworkers here tonight. I am brand new to woodworking, but I've made some cool stuff. I actually, when we were talking DIY house stuff, I completely renovated my kitchen with the router behind me. I have a TikTok. You have to check it out. It was one of my favorites. I
can't get to TikTok from here, but if you share the screen, if you can.
Yeah, let me pull it up over here quick. I closed down my TikTok. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I have so many windows and I have so many screens.
They block it in the schools for me. I'm still at school. So while you're doing that, let me say hi to Winston Davies. He's coming from Alaska. I mean, we really do have a lot of people here tonight. It's pretty cool. How you doing?
Good. Good.
You got some
figured out. I was having technical issues.
Yeah, there you go. Turn the camera horizontal.
Horizontal? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm on my phone and I've been screwing around here so much. I'm at like 10%. So.
Oh, no problem. All right. Well, hi. Thanks for coming. And if people don't know, they can follow you. He does aluminum welding. He is CNC or stainless steel, and he's got a shop class up there in Alaska. Builds boats. They go out there fishing and stuff. It's pretty cool. We had him on the podcast a couple of years back. I can't believe how long it's been. Cool. How you been? Everything's good?
Good. I had a story, a funny story. Your last podcast popped up on YouTube with Weston, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? And anyhow, about a year and a half ago, I was in Salt Lake City, and his thing popped up on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So I messaged him. I said, hey, how far are you from the airport? Right? And he's like, 10 minutes away. So I went to his house and I bought a Picket Master from him and hung out in his shop there for like, I don't know, half hour. And I had a fish box full of halibut. I gave him some halibut. And anyhow, so it was like, what a small world seeing him on the podcast last week.
Wow,
so, anyhow,
crazy.
Funny. Yeah, no kidding.
How long ago did that happen?
That was a year and a half ago. It was September of 22. I was going down on an elk hunt, and I had to go through Salt Lake City and rent a car. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So there's a picture of my students using the Picket Master on my Instagram, laying out some stitch welds. So
So this is last week's episode was pretty cool. Yeah. Winston. Yeah, it was pretty cool. He's a an inventor, a mechanic. He's done so many things, and he also fixes ski lifts, and he has an invention called the Picket Master, and it'll find the center or the equal spacing of any length. So it's pretty cool. but we asked him like crazy questions like, hey, what do you do if the ski lift fails? And I think I brought up a video of like this horrible thing where the ski lift brake failed and sent everybody backwards and people were jumping off.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
Oh no.
This was, oh my God, this was wild. I was like, so what happened here, man? He's like, well, the brakes were either disabled or they failed. And there's like several safety redundancies, but it was wild to hit him up with that question. Oh man, it was so crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, this is a face video from I think Austria or something. I'm not sure. It was crazy. So anyway, yeah, pretty cool. So that's wild. So you knew him. That's awesome.
Yeah, it just happenstance, you know. Just anyhow, and then at some point in the podcast, you guys say, "Oh yeah, what a small world." I'm thinking, yeah, it's like you guys are on the East Coast, he's in the middle, I'm over here, and somehow we all kind of met up.
Wild. That's wild. And Jenny, where you? What? You're in Ohio, I think.
Wisconsin.
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 That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So let's see. Who else has jumped in here that I didn't say hi to yet? I think we got everybody.
Duke's on now.
Yeah, oh my God, Duke.
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing?
Hey, that's a great transition. Give me the drum roll, please.
Oh, yeah. You know, since we had Jenny on the podcast before, but this is not the Shop Class podcast. That's the biggest question of the night.
Oh, we don't need the question. I just want the drum roll.
All right. Ready? Here we
Give me
go.
the drum roll. All right, I got a package here. Okay, I'm gonna do a live opening.
All right, what is this?
All right, so let me give you a live opening here.
Okay, this is exciting. What do you got?
All right, so here's the package. All right, here's the package here.
Oh,
made in the USA.
I think I know what this is.
All right, so it's all taped up pretty good here. All right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna wait a second. I'll wait a second because it comes with an envelope. All right. Thank you from
nice
Salt City Steel. All right. So in here. Looks like I got a thanks for supporting small business fabrication. Okay, Salt City sticker. Nice. And a famous, we've talked about these on the show before, Sharpie. Okay, famous Sharpie. If Nick was on there, he'd be happy. All right, so we got an industrial
Sharpies from Infinite Craftsman.
Sharpie. All right. Also, check it out for the shop.
Oh wow! Look at that
banner.
Oh.
Nice.
Wow.
No, that's just a nice color scheme. Kids are gonna love that. All right.
Great.
Now for the reveal.
This is awesome. And this is all from last week.
All from last week.
I'm not quick enough.
Comes with a nice rubber sheathing. He said it was sharp. All right. And here it is. The Picket Master.
Oh.
All right. So if you can imagine, if you have a shape, all right, and you want to find the center, you just open it up. So that's perfectly in the middle. My wife's still awake, but this takes all the math out of the wood shop.
Oh.
My wife's a
math teacher, right?
There it is.
That's cool.
Picket Master, live on the Shop Class podcast.
That was awesome. I can't wait. He's actually sending me one in exchange for a Shop Class podcast hat, which I owe all you. And I have a box filled with hats and t-shirts, and I've been meaning to send out the door. I'm so sorry. That is cool.
Dude, Ron,
what is the name for that? What is the name for that shape? Like you call it a parallelogram or like the same concept as a scissor lift? What's a basic geometry?
I don't know.
He was. Who is he
Like an
talking
accordion.
to?
Yeah, I was
lost
gonna
me at
say, like
geometry.
an accordion.
There is a suggestion here, a pentagraph.
I've used a
Nice.
pentagraph where you scroll with one side and it goes on the other. Yeah, that's some old school shop stuff there.
That is cool.
That is.
And so Jenny, you got to start making cool little toy like tools like this and sending it to teachers so that they can use it and it's engraved with his name. Can we get a close up of the engraving? Because he lasers that.
Yeah, he puts this on a laser. So can he get that?
Oh
On
yeah.
there?
Flip it the other way. 180.
There we go.
All right, here we go.
Is that aluminum or is it steel? It would have to be
Steel.
steel, right? Because it's got a scribe. Are the ends like carbide scribe? Or are
Not
they-
yet. I believe
It's stainless steel.
stainless.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's from Send Cut Send is his
Yeah.
supplier.
Yeah, he's telling us that he gets these cut out on Send Cut Send.
Oh, I see. And is there a lock in the middle?
This is a wing nut.
Yeah, that's for tightening it
Ah.
down. That's a good. So once you get to your stretch, lock it.
Yeah.
Tighten it down and then.
That's pretty cool. This stuff's so cool.
Well,
That's
you know,
great.
how many times are you in the shop, you want to find the center of something? Then you're measuring or like you're trying to adjust your ruler to move it over like a 16th, and then you try to find the middle.
Yep.
Right
That's-
here.
How far does it go out?
This one's it's over a foot, 16 inches, 18 inches. But you can get one that has 7 sections and one has 12.
I was gonna say, it looks like Winston's is a lot bigger.
Yeah, this has got 12. We use it for laying out stitch welds. That's not what it's for. He uses it for laying out the pickets on railings, so you just lay it out quick with a Sharpie. But yeah, it makes quick work of it.
How many pickets does that one have, Winston?
This one's got 12.
Oh,
12
okay.
points.
But he makes a big one too, right? He makes like a 24 and a 36 as well.
I don't remember.
Okay.
See, I could see that being awesome with carbide tips on it for even laying out saw work. Like if you have to saw, because you can make it so they're all equal, right? When you pull it out, are all those distances equal? So you could measure from edge to edge. And if you have a piece of bar stock that's, yay long, if you get it cranked down, you could just mark all the lengths at one time.
That would be awesome. If you could figure that out, I think that's what he wants to move into. So maybe you guys should get on a call together.
There we go. Hey, I get awfully lonely in here, so I'm happy to hop on a call. It's me and the dogs most of the time.
Collaboration is king. Why do you have to build your audience yourself? I mean, you're clearly fit with our audience, shop teachers. You're kind of a shop teacher unofficially, and this is the audience you'd be serving. So just think of the teachers out there. You'd be making their lives easier by coming up with a product or a curriculum sequence. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, and last year I was in Salt Lake City. I was in Syracuse, not far from Salt Lake. But I kind of traveled a bunch last year while I was at Tormach doing CTE statewide conference workshops for certification for CNC basics. And the one thing I noticed is there's a lot of shop teachers that have equipment that have no idea where to get started with it. And that's where I was like, okay, this is something I love to do. And I have no idea if I'm going to fail or succeed, but I'm going to give her a try. So you don't know unless you try, right?
100%. We got to get you to the New Jersey conference, NJTEEA. That would be good. And then, out by you, I'm sure there's a bunch. I mean, if you think about it, the Shop Class podcast is weekly. I wouldn't mind if you popped on here and did like a mini lesson each week if you wanted to. That would be how you get your name out there. It's up to you. No obligation, type of thing. That would be kind of fun. And then we could get an update on your progress. That would be pretty cool.
Oh, that would be great. I could show you what I'm working on, just a real quick jump in, jump out thing. And then I can put it on my YouTube too, because man, it takes me a long time to cut a YouTube video. I'm not a video editor.
No, you got to talk to Talik. He will help you out. Yeah, he's the man when it comes to that. Which go? Yeah. So, what other machines do you have in the shop that you want to feature tonight? Anything you want to tell us?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
See, I need to set up a camera so you can see them all. So, I showed you my router. I do have an.
Do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? You could take the phone and walk it right over.
Oh yeah. Hold on one sec. I'll have to mute it, right?
Yeah, and the volume too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. I'm gonna see if I can find it on Insta here.
There you go.
Oh,
all right. Nice. So while we're waiting for that, pretty cool stuff going on. I'll give you an update on what I'm doing at my shop, and then I'd like we should get an update from which code Barbercheck. Is he still around? Oh, there he is. Yeah. I want to get a Barbercheck update and also a BlueQuest update. So we're at this shop. We're working on a off-grid system. It's a kind of like a trailer. We're putting the solar panels on, and we've got a Victron energy system, inverters and whatnot. So they're starting to wire it up, and I just bought a power supply to fake out the batteries, because I don't want to use the batteries yet. And we're going to turn on the system within a week or two. So that'll be pretty cool. And it's the same exact system that BloomQuest has. And so BloomQuest, how's that system working for you? Is everything still okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Now, one thing I did run into, we put the other two batteries on, and the cables are different gauge and lengths. So I think the original battery, we're draining it faster because they're shorter. And so I unhooked that one. So we're down so we went from one battery to 3 batteries down to 2 batteries. Now we've had this crazy cold snap, which I think the whole country got. And so I kind of turned and we were getting very little sunshine, snow. And if you guys remember, the roof on that was pretty flat. So on a normal sloped, roof or setup with the solar panels, the snow probably would have slid off. I had to go and make sure I knocked off snow a couple times because it's just too flat. And we had some pretty cloudy days. So I actually turned the mini split off and stuff. Like when we weren't there, I just left it off. But that was the only thing I've had to do. And we don't also have the other 4 solar panels onto the Harbor Freight trailer. That'll be part of the system that we spec'd it out for. So technically we're not running it in how we've spec'd it out completely, but what we've been doing with it's been awesome. I mean, a couple times my Sense thing will go off on my phone and tell me we've lost complete power, like at 6:30 in the morning. So, and that's because I left the heater on or the mini split on. And since it was so cold, the mini split was running overnight a lot, kind of deal. But honestly, once we have everything dialed in with the extra panels in the battery cables hooked, all sized appropriately for that original one, I don't think we're going to have much issue. And the nice thing is the way we use it, there is no issue. I mean, every day we get there, the little bit, even with today was super foggy and overcast. And I mean, we are still charging battery, and I turned on the mini split for a while in the morning just to warm it up in there and stuff in case, to cut the chill in there while I was working in there this morning. And then it charged the batteries right back up. And so, yeah, it's doing everything we need to do. Like I said, we don't have it at its full capacity still, but the house is completely built off of solar at the moment. So it's cool. It's fun.
That's awesome, man.
And I'm probably being a little too careful with it still, but just to make sure we have enough juice in the morning and stuff if we ever do. But heck, usually I walk in there and the batteries are 100% full. So
wow, really?
Yeah, because Well, usually what I do is I turn the mini split off at night before I leave. Well, that's at what, 2:30, between 2:30, 3 o'clock in the day. The it's pointing west, so it's getting plenty of sunshine, and it'll juice those batteries right back up. And the only thing that's running at night is the modem and the outside light. It's an LED light that kicks on outside the door. That it's dusk till dawn or whatever light. And so yeah.
Gotcha. No, that's awesome. I can't wait to get our system running, and I'm just going to be like, oh man, we have a similar system. The only difference I have is when it comes to the batteries, we're using I wish I could grab them in the box over there. Basically, we're using a battery that has a BMS in the case. So I'll never see I'm not dealing with those wires. It kind of saves time here, but it was a little more expensive. But with yours, you actually have an external BMS, and so your batteries should protect themselves. Did you ever have how do you know which batteries are on or off? Do some of them turn on and off because of the BMS? Or okay?
No. Well, so what happened was the reason I went ahead and unhooked that one was because the screen would not kick on the BMS, and we know they were less expensive ones, so
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't want to take the chance of we were draining that battery too much, like completely draining it and stuff.
Right.
Or if the BMS went bad on it. So it's one of those things. I went ahead and unhooked it because I knew we needed. I should anyway because we have different gauge wires on that one. We had different length wires, and I know part of it is you want all that to be the same, so it all draws from everything the same amount. So I just went ahead and unhooked it for safety precaution, as far as not damaging the battery. So hopefully, because like the BMS, I have the little screens that hook onto it, and it'll tell me like how charged and everything they are. I think Matt was probably right. Like, I can't say I'm disappointed with them. Like they've done what we need them to do so far. But I was looking into maybe getting the Victron brand ones. I just have to know which one to get. I don't know. So I may upgrade those here eventually, and on that end of things. But like I said, I really haven't pushed it to the limits yet. I did figure out the saw stop situation where
what was the deal?
Because saw stop is too smart. It's all in the saw. It knows. They said if you hook it up to no matter what, if it's off grid, you can hook up to a system that has solar but it's still on the grid. But if you're completely off grid, the saw knows and it won't operate.
Really?
I read it. I found it a whole bunch of times online. People were like, "Yep, you can't be off grid with a saw stop. It's too smart."
Wow.
Why is that? Is it that the 60 hertz sine wave doesn't match that from the power company?
I don't remember there was a whole elaborate explanation of how you could overwrite this thing, but you had to be like an electrical engineer to even understand what it was. It was beyond and you had to get the special thing from Europe. I mean, it was like a complete workaround thing. I kind of read. And I forget exactly what the reason was. It's been a while since I was looking at it, but yeah, they even said if you have an on-grid, off-grid, or a solar power supplemented system, but you're still on grid, it will work. But as soon as you're completely off-grid, they're like, it will not work. Period. And it doesn't.
I would think that if you looked at the output from this system, the sine wave actually looks different than that comes from the power company, and you would think it could be something that could be solved from the Victron, I think was the manufacturer, that I would think they could kind of engineer that in.
Maybe. Like I said, I saw somebody it got deep fast and I didn't understand it, so I quit reading it because I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what the heck you're talking about. And really, I was one of those things I was trying to find see if there's a quick solution. It's kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, it hasn't been a problem for us because at the moment we really don't use a table saw, like in the, in the early part, the rough carpentry side of things, we really don't use a table saw much. There was a couple times we were going to do some ripping down, but thing is, we got the skate plate that we put on our circular saws, which acts like a table saw, and we also have a track saw. So that's what we just use right now. And by the time we're ready for like finish work where we'd use a table saw, we'll be fully hooked up onto grid with the house anyway, as far as the house having power. So I really didn't go much deeper because it was, like I said, it was kind of one of those things. It was kind of annoying, but it was like, well, we don't even really need it. So I kind of quit diving into it. But yeah, if you could kind of look into it and stuff. And I think somebody had maybe tried figuring out a workaround, but it was pretty elaborate. It felt like.
Okay. Basically, what I'm reading here, and it makes sense, is that there's a surge. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you run the saw stop when you had 3 batteries hooked up?
No, we haven't done it with, I don't think we did it with the 3 batteries. We did get the ground rod buried because we thought maybe that was the first problem. We did that. I didn't try it with the more batteries. I finally, like I said, going through all this, it finally, like one of the persons like, yeah, Saw Stop straight up told me if you're off the grid, it's not going to work. And so I was like, all right, good enough for me. Like I say, it wasn't something, it was more one of those things that it would have been cool to say that I turned on the table saw off the system.
You try it? Yeah. When you
I could try it again.
Try it again, but with 3 batteries because of the surge.
Gotcha. And they were saying something else. Like there were some other things saying it wasn't working, reason possibly not working. But yeah, I'll try it. I didn't think about that. We've got more batteries hooked up now.
I didn't think of it either, and I was just reading real quick, and they were saying it's because it's a huge surge. So if there's a surge, there's a more amp demand, and then the watts are the same, but then the voltage drops. Voltage drop, the computer says no dice, and then shuts it down. So maybe give it a try with 3 batteries that are at 100%. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
But
pretty much it's on the saw side of things.
Is there any capacitance built into this? It's Victron, right? The system, are there like a bank of capacitors to handle that? Because a battery only supplies so much. When you have an instantaneous huge draw like that, the capacitor solves it. So like a bank of them plugged in line with it, you would think would do.
That's a good question.
Man, that'd be a Matt question.
Yeah.
Our other Matt.
Yeah.
We need more Matt.
I don't. Yeah. That I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, it has to do. I mean, obviously it knows because it's like it changes. The Victron controls like how much, like the more you use, like just because you get, I don't know, however many kilowatts or whatever of light or watts of sunlight coming through, it only allows so much to go through the system. Like it only brings as much as it needs plus some. Like, so when you like, so if say it's full sun and I'm pulling in like 200 and some or 500 and some, as soon as I turn on the heater and it ramps up to over 1,000, all of a sudden I'll shoot up over 2,000. But the sun never changed, right? So the system's controlling what's coming in when something's going out. So like I said, I'm not electronically knowledgeable enough to explain all that. And this is the first time I've ever dealt with any of this. So we really relied heavily on Matt Foley, one of Ron's good buddies, who is kind of the master of all this stuff.
Yeah,
he would probably have that answer better than we would.
Is he a motivational speaker as well?
Matt.
I'm sure you guys have heard that 100 times before, but
down by the river.
I love that Chris Farley skit.
That's what we told him too. Yeah. And that's his name, Matt Foley.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, Bluegrass, that's a good update. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's amazing what has been going on. Good to know that the batteries are working pretty good, and you only had one issue with the BMS. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. And then also real quick too, if anybody was thinking about or considering, I know it's kind of more on the construction side of teachers. I know is trying to get out there, and is when it was out there last year. Las Vegas, the International Builder Show into Vegas. Sashco's hosting a dinner and all that good stuff for the teachers again, with all the build show people and the who's of it, Instagram and YouTube influencers. And then I'm also helping build out and present in the high performance build zone with Jake Bruton and Ben Bogey. We'll be going over the install of the products that we used on our foundation and for this house build. And then I'm gonna, hopefully, as long as they don't put too many restrictions on me of what I have to wear, hopefully during that time I'll have the Shop Class podcast hat on during that. So,
nice.
Since Zavecki sent me all the stuff over after you guys, so hopefully during that I'll be putting that on there. So we should get a nice little press, and then Barber check. Kyle Thompson, who is one of the Harbor Freight winners, I think the year before me, maybe. He won the free trip from Sashco. And then they also brought out a teacher. I think she is, I don't know if she teaches in a school or has her own thing. But anyways, they paid for her trip coming out. And then also Barber check, Corey Torpa, who was a $100,000 winner last year when I won. He got permission. He's coming down. So we'll have 3 Harbor Freight winners for sure. They're at the Sashco thing and wandering around. And of course, Greg will be there. I think Noah's trying to still get out there. Frank Cacavalli, he's getting a award presented to him from the NAHB because they have a student chapter. He's getting a award for, his what he does with the kids and the teaching and stuff. I know. Shop class teachers are starting to get well presented and acknowledged out at the biggest builder show, probably worldwide. If it's not North America, for sure, but I would argue it probably is one of the biggest in the world because there's everybody and everything there.
That's amazing.
I want to go. You're speaking my
I
language.
know.
I know all those.
Oh, Steve, it's
meet,
awesome, man.
I'd love to meet all those people in the high performance buildings and every name you mentioned. And I know Frank Cacaval well too. I used to work with him, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if it's Vegas, it's February 27th through the 29th. If you decide to get out there, let me know. We could probably still get you in. I'm sure there's still opening spots for that Sashco dinner. And I mean, there's everybody. Like if you saw them on YouTube or Instagram, they're there. Awesome framer, Tim Euler. It's Build Show is part of the Sashco and Build Show together. The Build Show Network put it on. So if you watch any of those guys or BS and Beer when the high performance, so Travis Brongart, Ben Bogey, Jake Bruton, Steve Basic, all those guys who actually Steve's on here quite a bit with us. He's become a friend of us. For me, it happens. I've been fortunate enough to get to know those guys early on, starting all this, so they've all kind of become friends and stuff now. But in fact, Steve Basic provided plans for our last house, Emily Mottram, on the one of the co-authors for a Pretty Good House book. She gave us the plans for this current one. I'm pretty sure Emily's going to be out there. But yeah, like Kyle Stumpenhorse R&R building. If you watch him do the pole barns and everything, he's out there at World of Concrete. And in fact, Greg was just talking to him out there, and I think Kyle may actually be making an appearance at our place, helping us with some standing seam roofing. And he's just a little bit north of me as well. And then, but yeah, I mean, we had April Wilkerson. You guys watch her. She's down in Texas. She's kind of a DIY maker person. She was there at it with us. We actually ran into her walking the floor when I was with DeGuidis and Cacavelli and those guys. Oh man, who else? Noah, like I said, Noah was walking around with us last year. It was a blast, man. I don't know. Is Noah still on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as like anything like professional development wise or anything like that, there's nothing better than this.
Nice. That's
And I just got the Builders Association just agreed to cover me to go out there. So now I just need the school to agree to it. So I
Oh,
sent
that's
an email, just waiting on that to hear back. So hopefully I make it. And then I got my neighboring county, the shop teacher from there, the carpentry teacher. He's going to be coming as well. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully it works out a lot. I mean, it was awesome last year.
Yeah.
Dude, this is exciting. I want to go.
Like, it was awesome. Me and Greg walked in to get Greg's pass, and like we turned the corner and like Noah standing right there. And then we just all did our thing together pretty much the whole week then.
Yeah, it worked out awesome. And it was crazy. Everybody wants to talk to shop teachers too. It's cool. You just can, walk up to these people. They want to know what you have going on. And then obviously I want to know what these people have going on, because we're even watching some of these people's videos in class and stuff. So
yeah,
it's cool. I got students commenting on Instagram when you're taking pictures with these people. Stuff like that is pretty cool. All around, it was awesome.
Do you end up doing a live stream with the students while you're walking around so they can see?
We didn't do any live stream. Greg did a couple live stream. Now, Greg, since he teaches college level, he's at World of Concrete out there, and then he'll be again out there again. So World of Concrete, he takes some students, but they're all 18 and above, so they're adults. Like I said, it would be very cool to take students, but it'd be probably the last and first and last time ever. Assuming I got to keep my job afterwards, because I've had classes where my 2020 grads, I know exactly how a trip to Vegas would have gone with those guys. So they would have, they would have done Vegas as right as they could as 17 and 18-year-olds. So we don't get to go do students, but because we have a sub that's the kids have to hang out with. And I'll have to do that. In fact, I'll have to see if the time frame happens when I'm presenting. They may be on lunch break. I'll have to see, because there's a couple hour difference. But we could totally live stream to them. Could be their class during the presentation, because we're literally presenting what they just built. Like, it's the exact same thing. The footings, the perfect block foundation. That's a good idea, Jenny. Yeah.
Thanks.
Matt, I got a question. When are you presenting? Do you know the ballpark on the time?
I think I'm Tuesday morning Vegas time. I think it's like 10 or 10:30 or something. I'm like, I know we're kicking off. I think, let me see if I think Travis maybe sent me that text.
Is that okay? Because it'd be cool if we could tune in.
Oh, that would.
And maybe I'll see if we can figure out something for doing that, because that's a really good idea. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, we kind of.
Willie's going to be there. He'll have to have something going.
Right. Yeah. I'll just get Mark to hold the phone. Right.
Yeah. There you go.
Who knows? For him, he'll be running. He'll be running all over that place. Like, especially now that he's with the Build Show.
Oh yeah, Mark Willie. Let's go over to Winston Davies. He's got his hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I think he's got his hand raised.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Winston, if you want to jump in, tell us what your question. Pretty cool. Let's see. Oh, he might have hit the wrong button. Anyway, this is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it would be great, Bloomy, if we could live stream. But I know that's a lot of stress, like extra stuff. But if you could pull it off, I'll be on the other side of that camera or internet. I'll help to manage it if you want.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. If you want me to film something or whatever, I can take care of that, because I'll be there anyway.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah, keep in touch, Noah. Let me know what's going on, and we'll try and make it happen. That's
I think it's somewhere around the 10 a.m. time frame. In the I bet Winston's phone died on us.
Yeah, he said it was at 10%.
I think it's around the 10 a.m. Vegas time. So would that be noon Central, 1 Eastern ish?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's perfect.
But I'll make sure I get that out to everybody.
That would be really cool if we could record it. That'd be great. Oh, you know what worked really well recently was these wireless iPhone capable microphones.
I have some like that.
If you don't have them, Matt, I will send them to you ASAP.
Well, I don't have an iPhone, but I did pick up a mic that will connect to my phone. I need to test it
I
out
was gonna
because
say mine's an Android too, but it's
Yep,
kind of a
that's it.
two-piece. Works great.
oh, awesome. Yeah, I
Except
picked
get
it up.
two of them because the battery doesn't last that long.
Okay. Yeah, because I
But-
picked them up like at Walmart for like $20 or something.
Yeah, I think I did Amazon and I bought a 1-pack and I actually was doing a YouTube video and I broke it. And I'm like, uh-oh. And so I finished the video, but then I was like, okay, I'm going to get a 2-pack because I'm a brute or something.
Gotcha. Yeah, all I have to do is check with any rules because I'm part of it is so I actually get paid for it too, which is really cool. So I haven't even gotten permission. I told my principal about it, and I've gotten the last 3 years because it's such a big deal and stuff. But this is one of those deals like even the school denied it. They can give me dock days because I will make more money in those 3 days of setting up, preparing, and presenting than I do that week of school anyway. So this one, it's Matt's going no matter what is said kind of deal. But they'll let me go. I mean, I'm sure they'll let me go. They've been very supportive of this this week and what we've done. And, growing that Sashco thing, 3 years ago when we were in Orlando, it was just me presenting and talking about the projects I knew was going on to other teachers, to these Instagram influencers and product, marketing people with manufacturers about the idea of teaming up with the schools and helping the teachers and reaching out. And then it's, obviously with also the help of Mark Willie and what he does with, he's, the internet. And so now it's flip-flopped where it's all the influence come to meet all the teachers. And Noah tell you he was there. It's cool. Like they make you feel pretty special. Like you said, you're all excited about, it's like imagine going up to some, sports player or something that you really admire, and they're more excited that you just talked to them than you talk to, and how you are talking to them and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, then Sasco sent like stuff even after, which was the caulking 101, which was really cool. I did with the students, but then they did hats and stuff like that. That stuff's cool. I feel like it goes a long way.
Oh yeah,
like kids to get stuff like hats, and it's like, oh, this company, like we use their products and they wanted to give y'all something. Like that's cool. Everybody wants swag and stuff like that, right?
Well, I think it's a really important time we're living in because I kind of predicted this with Barbercheck years ago. It's the age of the celebrity teacher, where it's a correction from what they did in the 90s where they crashed all these courses. They cleaned out a lot of shops. I mean, there was 2 milling machines here and 6 lathes and a whole bunch of stuff. And then they just tossed it out, and most schools got rid of the shop classes in the 90s, and we're having a major comeback. And why shouldn't the teacher go on the road every so often and speak about their class and collaborate with the suppliers and the industry professionals and go to the trade schools? Why should that be like something out of the norm? It shouldn't be. The schools should actually require it and encourage it and pay for it. Because, when I was a younger teacher, I was afraid to take off a day. And then I talked to my friend who's an auto shop teacher in California. And he's like, no. Take off a day, take off a couple of days, take off 3 days, go to a trade show, go to a car show. And when you come back, your kids are going to be so excited because they're going to see your excitement level for the trade or for the subject you're teaching. So it comes back big time for the schools and and the students in that school if the teacher is excited about their industry. So it's not like just a day off, you know. Adam, go ahead. You got it up.
Well, my attachment to Maker Camp and all that, and so I figure like, well, the shop teachers could get their districts could pay for them to attend Maker Camp and kind of see what everyone's making in their own shops and how their their passion for it. Because a lot of those people aren't teachers, but they love it, do it in their basement, and they're very enthusiastic about it. And they probably use it in ways that you guys would never think to use it because they're just trying stuff, throwing it at the wall, and there's no like formal education. It's everyone's learning from YouTube or whatever they're learning from. So, if Maker Camp's closer to everybody on the East Coast instead of heading out to Vegas, but Vegas is a very different thing. But Maker's obviously very hands-on.
Yeah, it's kind of like, of course you want to pursue your craft, So we'd have that on the East Coast. This is one of the great ones. I mean, and we've got a lot of the shop teachers go up there. It's pretty incredible.
But you guys usually find yourself trapped around the fire pit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, pretty cool. I've had some good times up there. We've gone like 3 years in a row already. It's unbelievable. And that whole New York State resurgence is going on. It's pretty cool.
Right.
So awesome. Well, this is exciting stuff. Matt, I can't wait till you go down there and check it out. And then let's see. So we'll probably try to wrap up. Jenny, I want to encourage you to be that celebrity shop teacher that has no restrictions. I think you're excited. I think the kids will be excited about seeing lessons from you. I think you got to change the name of your website because it's blocked over here and it might be blocked at other schools as well.
That could be. I'll see what I can do. I'll talk to my web designer and see if there's a way we can swap it up a little bit. So
yeah, I tried to pull it up. So,
and
but
one of these other times, I'll get some cameras set up and show you because I do have a lathe. I have the router. I have the mill. I actually have another small lathe and an automated bandsaw as well. So, I wanted to encourage you because there's so many house DIY, so many folks that are in woodworking. I have my DIY kitchen on TikTok and it was like a 3-month labor of love. And I don't know if you guys saw that. I actually gutted. I'm not a woodworker, by the way. I've only been working in woods. Do you want me to show you real quick?
You could, if you share, because I'm blocked on TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok here.
Go for it. That's right. No TikTok for you, but hopefully the music.
We got a TikTok master in the house. Arborcheck somehow, I think, smashed like 100,000 people or more. So you guys should connect on there.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. This one's not even my biggest videos. Oh, I got to click on the actual one, not the screen share. So this was. My husband we had this is an old house that we live in. And you could kind of see the before. It was like a 1950s style kitchen. But I did it all in pine inserts and that resin work that I was talking about. So this was kind of my first, really getting into resin. And yes, I should be wearing gloves and a respirator, but, I was new at it. So those are all my colors. But
oh, wow.
So you can see, and I mean, I can't take credit for the artwork. I bought them all from different digital artists on Etsy. I like to support all the other artists, and it would have taken me forever to do the sketching and the machining and the epoxy and everything. But I ended up reusing all the cabinets. You can see I actually gutted the hollow cabinets, the honeycomb from it, and I painted them. My husband wanted this Southwest thing. And so it's just kind of me doing the cabinets, but I ended up doing the entire kitchen like this. And it was 3 months of, I'd knock out a couple here or there when I had time.
That's pretty cool. That looks like a lot of fun.
It was so much fun. And I'm not a woodworker.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm not a woodworker. So I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, but it ended up so cool. And people come in and they're like, oh my God, who did your cabinets? I'm like, well, that was me. I'm like, and it'll show you the whole kitchen in a sec. my longest TikTok. So, but there was a lot of work involved in it. But I just appreciate that there's woodworkers in this group because I could learn a lot from you guys because I'm like, I am very new at all of this. So yeah, I just basically made them to fit inside where that house.
You're using lathe parts to hold things down.
Oh yeah, I'm just like, I need weight. I mean, I'm bootstrapping all of this. I cashed in my retirement to start Wrench Wench Works. So anyway, I've got work that's kind of keeping me somewhat steady, but yeah, so that was
nice.
And it was so much fun. We still have to put new floors in, but I told my husband I want to make a floor with my wood scraps. He's like, no, you don't. I'm like, sure I do. That would be really fun.
That is
If you guys ever move, make sure you take those things down and take them with you.
Yeah, you can have the house, but not the cabinets.
Yep.
Well,
House
eventually,
and no kitchen.
I eventually want to get a bigger router. I want to get a ShopBot. Right after I left Tormach, I went to Oregon and hung out. Do you guys know Sally from ShopBot? ShopBot Sally? Anybody
Get her
know
on here.
I should. I will ask her. So her and Ted started ShopBot. Her husband's the one who started ShopBot, and I went and spent a week hanging out with them, just kind of recollecting myself. And I'm like, Sally, I don't know what I did, but I just left my job to start my own company. I have no idea what I'm doing. I said, I'm just winging it. She's like, you should come hang out. So I came and spent like a week on the West Coast with them, and it was a blast. But we just talked shop and teachers, and because she's really passionate about it too. So anyway, but that was but I want to do kind of a step through on stuff like this because it's such low hanging fruit for students, but you can do some really cool stuff. So anyway,
Nice.
But yeah, we'll do a shop tour because I know you guys have had a long day. You guys have been teaching all day.
Oh yeah, that's all right. This is about the time we wrap it up. I really appreciate everybody being here. And Jenny, I think you're going to do great things. The only advice I would give you is collaborate. I would say, don't wait for clients to come to you. I think you should just collaborate with us, and you could do like a little mini lesson every week if you wanted to. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I was going to open it up because I'm new at this. You guys feel free to email me. I think my email's on my website. So when you're not at your school and, it seems like it's not a naughty website, I promise. But my email's on there. It's just wrenchwenchworks@gmail.com. But feel free if there's something you want to see, drop me a line. Or if you just want to say hi, I'm a pretty friendly gal. So most of the time. So I know this week I'm bummed because I wanted to get another YouTube video up, and then I ended up with this mold build, and mold builds can take a little bit of time. So, but yeah, I plan on trying to make it a variety of stuff, but I want to keep it kind of lower level so people who are not necessarily industry machinists can follow it and understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen CNC. I mean, maybe I don't know, but I never saw CNC for the inlay of the epoxy inlay. Usually, the epoxy inlay is, I guess, it would be kind of like when pieces come together, or it's a live edge or something. But I never seen that. I guess that's probably commonplace, but pretty cool.
Oh no, I've never seen anybody do either. I'm just making this up as I go along, and I'm like, I wonder if this. But I think I did get invited to a few epoxy groups, and I think there are other people doing this now. But I was just like, I wonder if I could do epoxy in this, and
yeah.
So
yeah, follow Derek from Malden, and he does inlays where he'll carve it, pour it, and then carve the next section and pour it, and then do a surface pass, and everything looks perfect.
Wow. Bloomquist, you got to step up your cabinet game, man.
I'm at the point now where, I mean, when I taught in the classroom, we didn't get to that, but we had CNC machine and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that. But dude, I'm just into the installing part now. So
we're doing all that epoxy slabs. I just took a truckload of live edge slabs and river tables, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Nice.
Oh, and Jenny, you said you're in where is it? Maplewood?
I'm in Wisconsin by Madison.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard for some reason you were more local.
Oh, no, but I was talking earlier about going to Millburn. I did install their machine about 4 or 5 years ago, and they're great. I mean, I'm gonna miss. That's the one thing I'm gonna miss the most about Tormach, because I did a lot of first robotics stuff, and I loved working with the students. I did, and I don't know who's doing it now, but I don't have a machine to bring, and that's kind of on my wish list. I think I might get like a level or something that I can bring with me to on site. So I'm kind of looking at machines right now, trying to figure out what I want to use for my workshops. But
just borrow this one, can't you?
I don't know if it's gonna fit in my car.
Yeah. You need a small one. They started making these small ones once we already spent the money on what they thought was this was the smallest one, and then they came out with one smaller.
I this little router, the little XS Tech, and it's a great little machine, but I would love something that was capable of doing aluminum too. Because people always ask, can it do aluminum? I'm like, everybody loves aluminum. I'm like, so, and it can, it's just painfully slow. And so it kind of defeats the purpose of kind of showing like, different tool paths when you have to reduce it to these little microbytes. So.
Yeah. So, all right, well, we're going to wrap up the recording here, and we'll probably hang out for like another minute, and that's it, just to kind of wrap up the night. But this is great. We got an update from a lot of people. We got to see some new faces, some old faces, some faces from around the country. I think it's amazing. Shop Class Podcast for life. This is so cool. Thanks for all coming in. And Jenny, we got your back. Maybe we'll see you next week. That would be cool.
That would be awesome. Thanks for having me. And thanks, guys. This has been great.
Little preview of I got 2 guests coming up. We got a guest coming up on February 7th. Is a bicycle machining. Jenny, you're going to want to be there for this one. Machining workshop in it's called Paragon Machine Works out in San Francisco, California. And what they do is if you are making a bicycle, okay, the tubes you buy, but all the connecting points, dropouts, bottom bracket, head tubes, all of that is something they machine to make many varieties, including steel, aluminum, and they even do titanium. You just got to weld it all together. And then the father is retiring and handing the business to his son, who's a machinist there. He earns it. So very cool transition. They announced it, and all they did was say the transition was happening. I said, oh my God, we got to get an interview going. So this is going to be a big one we're preparing for. Another one we're going to do is an on-site visit for a model railroad museum in New Jersey. I don't know if my friends in New Jersey, have you been to the New York Society of Model Engineers? But they're actually in New Jersey on Route 17, close to Paramus. So I don't know if you guys have been to that. I gave a little preview on one of my stories, but it's going to be cool. And I'm talking about new stuff. Like, you can't just do the old thing. What if you had a 3D printed train, or what if you had food in the train and it went around for an event? So they want new ideas, and they contacted me about that. I said, come on the podcast. We'll come up with some new ideas for you. Anyway, those are 2 coming up. So I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys next week. All right. Pretty cool. All right. I'll end the recording right there.